Well,
Questions?
I just want to make a comment. Well, first of all, I want to thank you very much, Patricia, to accept my invitation. Just 24 hours ago, just over 24 hours ago, to come here and to talk in a specific thematic symposium. But I realized when we had a sudden problem that another speaker just turned down, just let us down, I realized that we missed a very important point in this symposium. We were talking about early infant care, and we missed the mothers. We missed the experience of motherhood or parenthood. And this is very important. And we mentioned that because when Audrey and Ruth gave their talks, we mentioned that they were both mother and father of 5 and grandchildren after all the science they have been doing a long time. So, and we talk about many times here in different situations about the context of development, the mother-baby relationships, and Nadia's work with the mothers in prisons. So, and we have, anyway.
My kids also have 3.
Yes, and anyway, we didn't think about. Well, Priscilla is a mother. I'm not very good father, but my daughter is here.
So you can be all bad.
And we were not talking about that, so that's why I thought Priscilla, maybe this is a sign. My Lee likes these signs of the universe that we have to include a talk of a mother who has the experience of science, very hard and good science, and is a mother, which is a very hard and important work, maybe much more important than we do in the lab. So thank you very much, and your talk was very important.
And maybe we failed to share this event, because I realized that this morning, I realized that we shared events just for people who are involved in science. And maybe the most important people who must be here are mothers and families and
But anyway, lesson learned.
yeah.
The next one.
Yes, something that we must think about.
You can share because you are
Yes, we're recording.
Yes, at least we have the second chance.
Afterwards, why not?
Yeah, good.
Okay, please. Questions, comments?
Thanks for the presentation. So I roughly know about the work you will do, so I recognize that. But I'm particularly interested in the last part where you go out to the people. It's, in Norwegian it's called formidling. We have like a duty to teach, to do research, and also to do formidling, to bring it out to the world. You have been doing that in our area, so to speak. Can you tell a bit more about how we should do that, and what's the best way to do that to reach people, and the reactions you receive from all over the world about what you did?
Well, I think that we have some ways to do it, but maybe the first aims that we should attack is parents and teachers. And those ones, it's for parents, we could start, my thoughts is for parents, we could start with prenatal good information, because I don't know in other cultures, but here they have no information about child development or things like this. And the only person that they can ask anything about it is the pediatrician, because they visit the pediatrician once a month at the least when they have a young baby. And there we have a problem because usually we see more often that kind of maturational view of that. So another way to attack would be the course, the medical course. So the view in medical course. But of course, a prenatal, good information for families. And I think that schools could be a center of this for parents and for teachers. The schools usually they have formative courses, often every year or 2 times a year. That would be a good place to be, the schools for young children. So that would be a good place to share this kind of information in an easy way that they could manage, and they could use this in their parents' meeting. So they could show in the parents' meeting how they could do, how they could manage it, or how easy it is to offer opportunities. Because sometimes I think that they don't offer the opportunities because they think that it would be too much work for them to stop in some way and plan activities or things like that. And no, it's so easy. When you start changing diapers, you can offer a lot of opportunities. So I think that would be easy, but you cannot do this just in one city or in another. It must be a federal program, and then
Yes.
it delivers for everyone.
This is what I was thinking, because here in Brazil we have a high social inequality. So it's very hard to implement some public policy. But we have a great SUS.
Example.
No, how can I say in English?
Health system.
Universal
Health
System, the federal.
So sometimes I was thinking that some health public with a kind of booklet that we can give to and maybe there is some kind of booklet in this sense. And when you talk about, when you have to think about medicine courses, I'm always thinking about that, because when I was studying Darwinian medicine and evolution, I tried to take a course in medical course, but they never uma turma porque não tinha interessado. Form the group because the students are not very interested in evolution. So I think we have a problem, because actually evolution must be a thing that we have to also achieve in this kind of.
I think it will be the next step, because at the beginning we were worried to make the babies alive after pregnancy. So then, now we reach this. So the next step would be like this.
But the reactions from abroad you got, where did they specifically go into?
Go in? Well, when I was in Sweden, this kind of experience that you asking me?
Yeah, you asked for a reaction. When you published this, you got reactions from abroad. And where did they ask you about?
Where?
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Well, they contact me and ask for interviews.
Yeah.
And it was people from the websites, so people from the newspapers place, and they got from some reportagem.
Yeah.
It's from a scientific magazine.
Yeah.
It's from a scientific magazine in here, and then they got this, and they start to call us and send us emails just to ask if we could share. But the practical things, what they wanted, it was the activities.
Activity, yeah.
Yes,
What
all
you
the
actually
time.
concretely could do with
Exactly.
small babies.
Exactly. Could you show what kind of activities during bathing, during changing diapers, what they can do? So it was more a practical day, so everyday life thing that
Like
we
a
could do.
guideline.
No, not a guideline. It was just a kind of interview that they made, like a short.
No,
Suggestions
but
for
in
even-
their mind
Yes,
was
there
like
might,
a
yes,
guideline.
yes. What about this?
We have two questions, Alfred, and you.
I think, at least in comparison to Norway, pregnancy and motherhood seem to be very medicalized in Brazil. And that, I think that is where the heart of the problem lies. That you, in Norway we have like, they're called health stations, and you go there during your pregnancy and you continue to go there with your baby. You're met by family nurses who know about infant development. You never, if your pregnancy is without any medical risk, you never meet the pediatrician.
Yes.
And so it's much more intertwined in the system. So they put a lot of emphasis on prevention. For instance, maternal depression. They try to pick it up already during the pregnancy, and they follow up very carefully in the first few months after giving birth. And all the babies are receiving the same treatment, and they are given advice once they go there. They go there, you know, for the first time after 6 weeks after birth for the checkup, and then 3 months, 6 months, and very regularly. And you can always drop in. You can always drop in, and sometimes the doctor is the GP is there, and sometimes it's just the health sisters, they're called. And they are like specialists in midwifery and early child development.
So those are a nice group to target, the
Exactly.
education of those.
Yeah, but they don't
But
have
no, because here, Ruth, the doctors, they don't leave the nurses do this job most of times. They want to keep with them.
Yeah.
So what's going on, at least the way that I see, it's the new medical courses. They have the focus on this federal system. So to form a doctor to be a doctor in this system. And this is a bit more like a family doctor, things like that. So maybe the next steps we can reach this. But of course it would be nice to have these midwives to advise and nurses to advise. Would be wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, then it becomes more like a low threshold family clinic where you can go and you can also talk about anti-conception and those. I don't know if that's allowed here in Brazil. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And you can, you know, be informed and get help. Low thresholds, like I said.
Yeah.
You know, you can discuss your doubts, and then 9 times out of 10, you know, they are unfounded. So these people help you with, you know, finding a balance in raising a young baby, which for many new mothers is a very challenging task. Yeah.
Nadia.
I just want to make a comment that I'm like comfortable with the idea that we don't have this in Brazil. We do have. We have a health system. We have basic units. I work in several of the basic units. That we have nurse. That we have physical therapist. That we have all my data come from public hospitals that have follow-up clinics for children that are at risk. It's not that we don't have in Brazil. Maybe what is missing is a more direct information from the population that these services are available. But what I would like to make clear is that we do have health systems. In my experience for living several years in other countries, we have a very strong health system. It's not the perfect. I don't have any letter from the government to defend the government, neither the actual or the past government, but we have a very strong public system. And this public system has attempted to provide service. I volunteer 5 days, 5 mornings, every day in a public hospital in Brazil. There are several other doctors that I work with. There are nurses, there are physical therapists, there are services. Maybe what's happened is the sex of the population, and also I think we needed to be more effective in social medias and this information to have this information. But the mothers are being assisted in some extension, and kids also are being assisted, and they have the right to have physical therapy when they have. It's not for the whole country, but maybe some places are working better than others. Maybe we needed to, I'm sure we needed to improve. I'm sure we needed to improve, but we do have. It seems like we do
Am I
have.
right to conclude that you're targeting at-risk babies?
Yeah.
Because in Norway it's the opposite. They target
Everybody,
normal
yeah, no. We target kids that are more at risk, not just preterm babies, but the people that need more. But several places, like, can give you one example of one of follow-up clinics in the countryside of my state is for everybody, for every child. And I think here it's probably for every child. In the other hospital that I work with research that is in Porto Alegre, the clinics, is more for at-risk kids. Low weight, low birth weight, and premature, or other kinds of at-risk. But in several places, like probably the experience that you have, they have this, they have the prenatal care. I think the poverty, in my experience, the poverty, sometimes they don't have the means to get to the hospital. But even in the hospital, the clinics, the Porto Alegre, they provide the means. They help with money to the bus. They help with lunch for the mother or grandmother. It's usually the grandmothers that take the babies to us to evaluate, to assess, and to the medical consultation. I think you have a good net and a good health system. Needed to improve, I'm completely sure about that. But we do have. And you have basic units with physical therapists. We needed to have there physical educators.
It depends a lot of the cities.
So I think in the system, in the papers, we
I'm
have.
talking about the system.
Yeah, in the system we have.
The system, we have a good system. And
But
we always,
yes, I talked about
and
I agree.
nice to meet you, Patricia. Nice to meet you. You raise your hand and you want to be quiet. So.
No, I think we
I
have.
think Patricia want to talk.
Yes, we have it, but we don't have this education program for parents.
Yes.
They have an attendance. They can attend. We have the programs, but it's medicalized. We don't have a program to education, to explain them about development. They don't have someone to ask and to get information. Do you have this? Do you have this?
Yes, at least in 5 units that I work, yes.
Or maybe so.
Samples as well. When I was in university, we did this part with teaching how to.
Yes.
But this is one place. We need some federal. We need for everybody.
Okay, but we have to start somewhere, and we
Yes.
have to help people. We have to improve. We have to
Yeah.
teach nurses and other health professionals about development.
But I think we have these individual initiatives. We have a lot spread around the country.
It's not individual. That's why
não é individual.
o meu ponto. It's not individual. It's in the system.
In the system. The problem is we have to improve it.
Yeah.
Santana de Parnaíba, it's a very healthy city, and they have this kind of program as well.
Yes, it's municipal.
Yeah, and they teach, they give stuff for the new babies when the mothers and as well. So it depends, of course, of how much money there is in the state for financing this kind of programs. But I think that the partnership with the university is the means
that's
to
the
do
point.
that, because we can
That's the
train
point.
health professionals, and we can help with the students teaching or sharing, better than teaching, sharing information with the others to prepare them for what is coming and so on. I do agree that we have a medicalized kind of approach to the steps of development, but we do have it.
Yeah.
But if you are born just beside Santana do Parnaíba, in Carapicuíba, you don't have access to that.
I see.
Yeah.
But is the politics at all? Because it's the main problem is the human being. Because you don't have money, first of all. So that city, you are not allowed to be on the other city. That's the point.
In Santos, for example, there's a lot of peripheral cities that goes to Santos to have healthcare, as well as Parnaíba. People from Osasco, people from Carapicuíba goes to Santana because they have nice healthcare, and they force the city.
Patricia.
Yeah, I would like to raise a point. I think it's important here. Is the conception of medicine in Brazil and Norway, for example. In Norway, you have a medicine conception that focus in the prevention. Is different from here, because we have if it was not the federal government health system, we wouldn't have the immunization we had under COVID.
Yes.
Our immunization program is an example for the world, because we vaccinated in a short time billions.
Yes.
Yes.
Look at the difference of the population in Norway and in Brazil, right? São Paulo state is 5 times the population of Norway. The entire country, one state. We have 23 states, right? So it's an example of the system that we have. It doesn't work for all, but it doesn't work very well in each states. There are differences, yes. It's not for it's for everyone, but some people don't have access or don't know how to have access, or they have no information. But it's an example of the public immunization and the medicine view in Brazil, and so far, is to treat the disease. It's not focused on the prevention. So I think the prevention, the education, the health education is very important in our country, and we need that. I think we are change the system. I think people are more aware of it's better to prevent than to treat, to medicate. But it's a little bit difficult in a country that is it's a continental country, and in which the view is to treat the disease. So I think we are in the process, but it will take so many long years, but we are going to get there.
We live in a continental country, and also we are living in a country that is suffocating education, health, science, so it gets much more difficult.
But I have another point. I'm going to disagree with you about these strategies. Just not to be top-down. Changes in policy start bottom-up also. And we need always work in this direction, and you are completely right, I have to agree with you, that this is our goal from the university, because all the systems, how it works, for me, my state, it's the professor from the university understand that they have this cooperation with the health system. They have to be there, they have to have their students there for the population. So this is a bottom-down strategy, it's not a top-up. So we can have, we should have both, but the bottom-up is very important and start at the university. So,
But the view
That's
the
my
country, the view the country has about the infancy, do you think that we have a good view about the infancy, our
no,
country?
I'm not disagreeing about that. I'm disagreeing about the point that it's needed to be,
To start.
no, needed to be just top-down strategy. I really believe if you're not do intervention for so many years, I kind of guess that we attend more than 2,000 children in intervention, just intervention, more than 10,000 in assessment. And this is not a top-down strategy, this is a bottom-up strategy. Bottom-up is important. We needed to understand our role as a university in the society. And I don't think you needed to wait for the government to do this. And that's, I'm telling this from the bottom of my heart. If you don't see our role in the university as having nothing to contribute to society, I don't know where you should go.
Yeah, no, I don't think
The
so.
university is the right place to start that.
Yeah.
The right place to support the community, doesn't matter if it's for old people, for young people, for sick people, prevention would be better. We are not, I don't think we are there yet. I think we are kind of at the risk. We're at risk to treat what is coming for us, not to prevent yet. But the university needed also to understand that we needed to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry.
Okay.
I really liked your research and the description of all this research that you gave in your talk about how clever babies are and the things they can do and are capable of. And then, and you know, the tips you gave parents, how they can stimulate their babies in the early weeks. But then you say to parents, every baby follows their own developmental path. I can't quite make that go together with the role of early stimulation, because to say that every baby follows its own developmental path is a very materialistic thing to say.
Every baby goes on development.
Follows its own developmental path. That was one of the statements that you provided parents.
No,
I don't
it's
know what
very-
to
I didn't say that. Yeah, but it
I
was
said
based on your
yes.
article, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. What is
You two, sir. Work it
Cat
out.
fight.
Maybe I misgot. Confirm, eu entendi errado.
Misunderstanding.
Because what we are talking, what Brisette and I was talking about, that every individual is doing and following the developmental path, but I was not thinking in maturational, but if
But saying that,
Yes.
that's my point from yesterday. Saying those kind of things
yes.
presupposes that there is a development embedded in the genes
So I
somewhere,
need
a
to,
developmental
I
plan.
need to fix
And you know,
in better. I can.
One thing.
yeah, an epigenetic landscape would be better.
Yes.
The pathway landscape.
One thing is.
But Pat, how can I translate this to parents? No. This is
So you can help your baby to develop.
okay.
Yeah, you can do all
Okay,
sorts of
okay.
things to help your baby to
Okay.
show progression.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have to fix this.
Because as soon as you start saying, well, you develop its own development.
Yeah,
path.
then there's no need for parental interventions.
No.
Yes.
Professional intervention.
And did
We have no
you
intervention.
notice another error? Because I did you notice?
It
In
was
the
in
video.
our last slide that you presented to the
No, I
parents.
noticed in the
No,
slide.
I
Yeah.
know, but if you notice another error,
Okay.
if I could send you and you pointing me,
Okay,
this is,
okay.
I don't know, it's much better. you need to review this, you know, I have to get my.
I noticed something.
Uh,
You did opposing views, maturational, not dynamic, and dynamic. But on your maturation or not dynamic, you quote some persons that are really
dynamic.
identified with the dynamic.
Dynamic system, yes.
So it, well,
Yeah.
Tilly,
Não, mas essa
Daniela Coberta,
esse era o slide do DST Oriented Papers.
But you have Daniela Corbett in two slides on maturation.
well, we can see later. We can see later. Maybe, but I thought because you mentioned about these are expressions of non-dynamic,
Yes.
and you say variability is noise, variability.
Não, esse era um slide anterior a esse,
Qual?
da Corbetta. A Corbetta era o slide do DST Dynamic Views.
Ela estava nos dois.
I noticed it as well.
É
You have statements that you probably found in their
Yeah.
papers,
But
but they are representative of the maturation.
É verdade.
It might be that Tilly or Corbetta
Was
were
telling-
criticizing
Yes,
both.
yes.
But
Isso.
when we
Elas
look-
estavam criticando,
When we
exatamente.
look, we what?
But when we see the citation of them,
That might be a
they were
bit
criticizing.
confusing.
So if you don't know these people, you might think that they are advocating the maturation.
Yes. So, okay.
But
This
we
is,
can see that later.
no, but I can change. Yes.
I'm a bit worried about the time.
Nossa,
What time is
engraçado.
Maybe we should invite Audrey to give us.
I think
The
it's one
summarized,
and
yes.
Patricia also both have their
Não, que eu tenho duas horas, tenho aula.
I think school is not the best place to do this job. School is a place that a lot of things to do. There is a queue, more one thing to use the school to teach parents. The school can't afford. Most of the schools in
Yeah,
Brazil.
somebody
It's
practice.
good, good for another place, health system. And another thing is about most of the papers finish with suggestion about how to simulate the. But one thing that we can't forgot is about the community, the Brazil. We are talking as all the parents cultivate your children, but it's not the fact. They live a life very miserable life.
Yes, yes.
This possibility to be present, doing the best, it doesn't exist.
Yes.
But someone does this job.
Huh?
Someone does this job for them or
Okay.
for me. Someone doesn't. And
Okay,
the one who does must
Agree with everything. Only about
Yes, but
one
it's-
thing
it's
about
different.
how to
Yes.
see. One problem that I experience myself is to give procedures, and instead of help the mother, I put culpa.
Yeah,
make them
I
guilty.
make them,
Ah,
and she cried because she
this
can't.
is stuff.
One more reason
We have to
to
take
be at
care.
schools, because most of those children are in kindergarten, in the creches.
And sometimes it's not clear that sometimes some mothers or parents treat their children with indifference. It's another problem. You have to. I always say something about connect. We have some problem with connect. And in Brazil, we have a high taxes of domestic violence. It's not the same thing for us. It's not high, it's high.
And against children also.
With babies, with children. Well, I think we have to take care when think about to share this knowledge to the community.
To give like tests to
Yeah,
make
it's not that I
they
I
have.
have the knowledge, then the community give the lottery note, take the
Yes.
note, take the note. It's not like that.
Yeah, the idea is just to show that maybe it's more easier than you thought.
I don't know, I think it's
I think one thing is what we can do, and your research is showing the things that we can do. What Luis is saying, as I understand, is that you have to research also and to develop ways to approach and to integrate,
Yes.
to
Yeah.
dialogue with families, with children, with the health system, with the school, whatever you call it.
Whatever it is.
This is also a question, a research question.
How
But
can we
we
approach?
sometimes treat this as something that will be accepted, will be common sense, and sometimes it's not. So you have to think of on the social context, as we said. Most of these people, they don't have the condition, they don't have the time available to do that.
Support network.
Most of the time, those children, or even babies, they are taken care of by the older sister, older brother,
Yes.
which is just 2 or 3 years older
Oh, yes.
than the baby. Or it's a grandfather or grandmother that has many things to do. We have to think about how to deal with that. And also to approach them. I agree with Luis, you cannot just arrive there with a throwing saucer.
Yes.
And also we kind of, I think we kind of reach the middle class in high classes with, maybe this we are reaching, but the low-income families, we are not reaching yet. Neither with the internet, the media, the apps. I have my fix on the reality here. If it's some things we just touch the middle class, not yet.
Oh,